My 5th grade teacher, Mr. Spedding, used to say to me, in an attempt to make me focus in class, "Kurrun, get a hold of the reins. Get a hold of the reins." Now, since my time in Mr. Spedding's class, I have pondered over the significance of that credo. It wasn't until I was faced with managing anxiety and depression that I came to realize the true significance of Mr. Spedding's words of wisdom. Flash forward to the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. My brother had just moved away to college, and my mother and father were hard at work every day. From 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night, I was alone. It was just me at the computer, tuning into my classes on Zoom. I should have been in person with my peers. I should have been able to practice volleyball with my team. I should have been able to go to the movies with my friends. All of that was gone in a blink of an eye. I felt anxious, depressed, disconnected. I approached my mom, asking to speak with a therapist. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She was worried. I really believe it's a mother's nature to just jump to the worst. Of course, in an effort to ensure her child's safety. At the center of her worries was me. She was worried that the doctor would be heavily reliant on a purely Western medicine approach. And what I mean by that is first relying on antidepressants without open conversation and my feelings being heard. Well, antidepressants have an important value for many, but she didn't want that to be the first line of defense before getting to the root of my anxiety without considering alternative therapies. After weeks of searching for a therapist, one whose schedule had not already rapidly become full, we landed on one. You see, it was apparent that therapists had all become inundated with adolescents, all going through similar mental health experiences. But my sessions with my therapist didn't last long. Because I felt that the personal connection that is typically shared between a therapist and a patient was lost on Zoom. And B, mostly because my therapist was recommending medication without listening. I was not being heard. Medication, undeniably, is valuable technology, but everybody deserves to be heard and understood first. I needed to really get out how I was feeling inside. My anxiety did not wane. In fact, it worsened. At this point, my grandfather had just passed away to cancer. One of my dear friends almost took their life. And if that wasn't enough, I was crawling my way through isolation from friends, distance learning, SATs, college applications. I mean, everybody. Just insert your list here. Shockingly, I don't believe myself to be an anomaly. Sure, my world turned inside and out. But the same was true for the rest of the world. At that moment, I didn't need a therapist to prescribe me medication. I needed someone who would sit with me, to empathize with me, and to tell me that my pain made sense. Confused and frustrated, I took to the internet and I found this. The Journal of the American Medical Association said that the prevalence of depression and anxiety symptoms during COVID-19 have doubled. Doubled. This statistic alone is why I know I am not an anomaly. The entire nation, heck, the entire world was going through the same mental health struggles. But why? As I started to research and dig deeper, I discovered that as a society, there are 9 underlying causes for depression. The first 2 are biological and chemical, understandable causalities. However, the other 7 are directly associated with our social interactions. Suddenly, the drastic spike in cases of depression and anxiety made sense. My struggle made sense. The COVID-19 pandemic restricted us from socializing with friends, going to work, and connecting with values that make us human. It is also axiomatic that the pandemic was and still is a catalyst for many future childhood and adult traumas. Number 8 speaks for itself. We didn't know where or what was safe. And I'm almost positive that most in this room, at some point, felt some level of loss of hope for the future of humanity. My path towards mitigation began to seem clearer and clearer. Instead of focusing on what I couldn't do because of the pandemic, I focused on what I could do. I learned how to cook. Coconut, banana, protein pancakes, avocado toast with poached egg, steak. I think at one point during the pandemic, I was cooking and eating steak almost every day. And at $12 per pound, my parents were really happy with that one. But I also started a fitness journey, built a home gym, and committed myself to a regimen. And I was fortunate enough to continue practicing karate and jiu-jitsu, earning my black belt with the title of sensei. Controlling our emotions, most definitely, is easier said than done. Find resilience in the facets of life that bring semblance of joy and control. Surround yourself with those individuals who have the capacity to notice and listen, be it a parent, a sibling, a friend, or a teacher, right? And be that person for someone else. In the face of adversity, there isn't one silver bullet. Take it one small act at a time, one step forward at a time, one day at a time. And I can confidently say that the more I focused on those outlets, the easier it became to get a hold of the reins. Thank you.